Superwoman Summit. Just the energy, just being surrounded with the right people, the right energy, the right mindset. Change that for me. We are bringing in Dr. Erica Goodstone. Dr. Erica, when I found her, literally brought tears to my eyes. She is a healing through love expert. Now, let's just inhale that for a little bit. Let's just experience that. Healing through love expert. I mean, just the sound of it um, changes your frequency already. Dr. Erica, you're on mute, just so you know. Do I need to unmute you? Okay, yay, we're unmuted. So
I'm
good.
excited.
Oh, Dr. Erica,
I just want to say I was listening to Kirsten and she was
yes,
talking about the energy in a space. And I just looked at a space, two of them today, and one had these narrow areas and blocked off energy, and the other was open. And it was just no comparison. And they're two places right near each other. And so I thought it's exactly what she was saying.
yeah, I actually really love what you shared, Dr. Erica. Oh my, but I'm so thrilled that you're here with us. Just so you know, Dr. Erica is such a treat. She is a treat. I'm so grateful that we have her. So when I found Dr. Erica, I'm gonna tell you a little bit of the story. When I found her, just her credentials brought tears to my eyes because I saw someone who gave her life. For what her message is. I'm gonna read through some of what Dr. Erica's bio says, so just you get a grasp of it. Dr. Erica Goodstone is a healing through love mentor, helps men and women, individuals and couples, gay and heterosexual, heal their bodies and their relationships through love. Dr. Erica helps her clients create and reawaken their love, passion for life, and intimate connections, including the one with their own self. She's a licensed mental health counselor and marriage therapist, board certified sex therapist, and the faculty of the International Institute for Clinical Sexology, somatic body psychotherapist, and personal life and health wellness coach. Her love transforming books, audios, videos, and courses will change the way you view love, relationships, and healing forever. Ladies, welcome Dr. Erica Goodstone.
Thank you.
Clap for that. I love for you
Lovely.
to fire up that chat. Okay, give Dr. Erica some love. When I read her bio, I swear I cried. I'm like, imagine someone who gave her life to all of the studies that she did, all of the pursuit, in pursuit of healing through love. I mean, you could see, I could see your heart, how you dove into this head on. I mean, like everything in you just dove into it and just pursued it. I'm in awe. So, Dr. Erica, my first question is, what brought you here? Like, what made you pursue this course?
Oh, you mean all the training that I've taken?
Yes, yes. What was
Well,
your inspiration
I'm not
behind
sure
it?
which was first, but to heal my own life, I was on a just taking all kinds of trainings I took a long time ago, EST and DMA. EST became the forum. One was about the creative process. I took things about marketing and getting yourself out there in health and wellness. I took all kinds of training. And then I became a professor of health and physical education. And in order to do that, I was training in all kinds of sports and always doing too much and getting injured. So that led me to study about the body therapies, because first I went for all kinds of treatments for myself, and then I started to study it and found particularly one person who put together talk with touch and helps you access the deepest emotions within you. So with COVID and lack of touch, we're all feeling something that we may not even be able to name. But there's a certain isolation with not touching people, because there's one gene that only gets turned on through touch. So as I study, I get excited, and I created a course called Love Lessons for Your Soul. It was 30 days with 30 lessons, and I don't always share about it. So I'm starting to provide some of these facts and information because I know that people need to hear another perspective on love. It's not exactly
Absolutely.
the one, uh, not exactly saying get rid of this person and that person was toxic and get rid of toxic relationships. I have a different perspective. So
We
I'm
would love to hear it, Doctor. So tell us, what is the principle of love and why does it matter?
I found this because I took this public domain book by Wallace D. Wattles that was written in 1910 called The Science of Being Well, and I created my own updated, not updated, it's his book with some study guides there and some images. And he wrote about the principle of health. And when I read that, I said, that applies to love. And I changed it to the principle of love. So I want to share what it is. There is a principle of love in the universe in full operation at every moment. Love permeates and penetrates and fills the interspaces of every cell in our body, every thought in our mind, and every relationship interaction that exists. Love is all there is. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. Love, in full force, eliminates all doubt, anxiety, fear, and hesitation. Unhampered love is the source behind all creation, all expansion, all success, and all joy. Love is the most potent medicine, the true healer of disease and ill health. And after shifting this statement to be about the principle of love, I kind of downloaded that there are at least 30 internal principles of love, which really boils down to be and become the love that you are seeking. It's really
Wow.
an internal job. And I can tell a little more about that if you want.
Doctor, repeat that. Be
Be
it.
and become the love you are seeking
Wow.
because it's really an internal job. And
That is powerful. I want to sit on that and bask on that for a moment. Be and become the love that you're seeking. What does that even look like? Be and become the love that you're seeking. Does that mean for yourself, for
it
another person?
means that you really rely on yourself. You listen
Mm,
to the signals in your own body. You listen to your heart. Your heart has 5,000 times the magnetism of your brain. So listen to your heart. It's picking up a lot of things that you don't realize. Your brain picks up, I should have those facts in front of me. I'm not sure if it's a billion or 100 billion bits of information every second. So your brain is picking up a lot, but it's not retaining it. I mean, you couldn't function with all that coming
yeah.
in. So there's only a minute fraction that you are aware of, but your heart feels it. It, you know, it picks it up quickly, and you know something's right or something's wrong. And the other area that also has a huge impact is your gut. They call that the third brain or the enteric brain.
Mm,
And it contains or produces 50% of the dopamine in your body and 90 to 95% of the serotonin, which is drugs that they use to help people. Dopamine can help your muscular fitness or your balance and
yes.
like that, and your energy level and your excitement. And the serotonin is the feel good hormone. So if your gut is disturbed, or if you're with someone and you feel like you can't stomach it, or you feel a pain in your gut or tightness in your gut, it's having an effect on your health and your well-being and your state. and your capacity to love. So that, talking about the hormones, is one of the lessons in the love lessons for your soul, and one is on the brain, and there's so much in there that people just don't know.
Wow. I can't wait to get my hands on that love lessons for your soul. 30 days. I feel like I'd be a different person in 30 days. That's
Well,
amazing.
it
Doctor,
started out directly 30 days, and then I made it into 6 weeks with the weekend free so you could catch up, because they're not long lessons, but it's a lot each time. And it's a new way, it's a reframe of love.
yeah. Yeah. I think we all need a reframe sometimes because we tend to look for the love outside of us. But like you
We,
said, be and become the love that you are seeking. That's really powerful, and that requires a mind shift.
and
You
it's
know, when
not
we
just love that we look for outside ourselves. We look for everything. We look for, well, I guess it could be related to love, for approval. We look for someone else's recommendation instead of doing our own research and figuring it out. We look to the doctor and get their perspective instead of we should do it in companionship with our own research. So it happens
yeah.
with love and with everything.
Well, doctor, that brings me to another question. You know, what is the cause of all relationship struggles and problems, even the relationship with yourself? You know, what do you think is the cause for that?
Well, the first thing, the struggle with yourself, is that the first thing is that you don't know yourself well enough, or you
Mm.
don't pay attention to yourself. For example, a lot of women will do that, and I know I've done it. You you really have, you're serious about success, and you work hard, and you earn money, and you don't waste it, and you don't borrow money. And then you meet some guy who's sexy and cute, and he has trouble making money, or he screws up with work and doesn't have money, and he borrows it from you and doesn't pay it back. And um, you're not honoring yourself enough. Maybe one time, okay, but really knowing, I have these values. He could have that too. He could do what I'm doing. No one is giving it to me. And you honor yourself. You say, this is not what I
Yeah,
really want in my life, unless you want to have a fling and it's sexy and fun, and you leave it at that. But if you're looking at it as a relationship, and you haven't evaluated, what do I really want in my life, you're just going to run into problems. And the
that is
person will
so
get
true.
hostile toward you because they'll feel it, that you're not really serious with them. So, very important to know yourself, but then you have to know, who is this other person? And that's one of the problems with going online and meeting somebody and not really knowing them. You don't know their
Hmm.
friends, their family, or anything. They can say whatever they want to say. And people have been scammed. The
Yeah,
really spent $1 million. She obviously had money, but it was a scam. It wasn't the real person. He had a picture that wasn't his. And so you have to know this other person. It's usually not as severe as that, but you have to know their likes, their dislikes, but more important, their dreams and their goals. So if someone comes from a family with their parents who are divorced, an awful lot are, and they have alcohol problems or drug problems, and that person grew up with that, I would not assume that they're not going to do that, that they're better than that. You really have to take it all into account and really evaluate, what am I getting into? Is it worth it?
hmm,
And a lot of us don't do that. So it's
yeah.
not always as severe as drug or alcohol abuse. It could be gambling, or it could be that someone has a volatile side, and you could see it when you visited with their family, but you think it wouldn't happen to me. So you really have to know who this other person is. And then a very important thing that a lot of people don't think about is you have to understand how the world works. And I know that you, Ava, have a very good understanding of that, because you have made these contacts where the people are eager to support you and sponsor you. as you have done. So you understand something about the world, and you say giving through giving first,
Yes.
operating with gratitude and with gifting and giving. And that's huge. And it's also recognizing, because when you give and you're honest and you have integrity, and you do the right thing, you see pretty quickly when people are not doing the right thing. So then you have
Yeah.
choices. But if you're also manipulating, you may not pay attention to what they're doing. And anyway, just really
Yeah.
understand how the world works. And there's one more piece, that is, be in energetic alignment within yourself. If your heart feels wow, but your brain is saying, uh-oh, this person's dangerous, and your gut is giving you a reaction, and it's not all saying go for it, whatever it is, the business deal, the love relationship, whatever it is, studying, taking a certain training program, just alignment. It helps you to heal anything.
Wow. Wow. This brings a lot of thoughts, a lot of realizations right now as we're talking. I'm one, I'll volunteer this, that I'm not aware of myself. Like, as women, we serve and we give and we take care of everybody else. And, rarely do we take the time really to get to know ourselves. What do I really want? What are my reactions? What are my needs? It's just like, I know for a fact that I would have to go through some of your books and some of your courses, because I am absolutely not aware of myself. But one of the things that you said a while ago that really caught my attention was when you said love is an inside job. So what do you mean by that? Love is an inside job? Because I know we're always looking outside, looking for validations, relationships outside. But what does that mean that it's an inside job?
Well, that's where I came up with all these statements that I'll give in a moment. And in the free gift, which is the principle of love, and I don't know if you have it on the page, so I'm just going to say it. Lovenow.life/the-principle of love. So it's lovenow.life/the-principle of So anyway, in there, in that free gift that you get, I have a lot of these statements, 30 of them, that I'm calling sub principles. And one is, and they're just kind of facts, but you're thinking about it. Love is a game. So in the moment when something is happening that maybe you don't like, or even if you like it, ask yourself, what game am I playing now? Or what game is the other person playing? And I'm just
Yeah.
going to keep going with a few of these. Love is a thought. So what am I thinking now? Or what is the other person thinking now? That's where it's internal. You're asking yourself, and you're finding out what you're thinking, and you're surmising what the other person is thinking. Love is a belief. What am I believing now? And what is this other person believing? Because that's part of the problem. They're believing something different, and maybe you have to explain it differently. Love is an interpretation. What am I interpreting now? And what is the other person interpreting? Love is a sensation. What am I feeling now? And what is the other person feeling? Love is an emotion. What emotion am I having right now? And what emotion are they having? So I might be having fear and shut down, and they're having rage. And so if you start asking those questions, that's a beginning to understand that love is really from inside of you, asking in the moment. And one more statement about that. Neil Donald Walsh asked this question: what would love do now? So my immediate reaction would be, oh, if I was loving, I would do more for that person and I wouldn't get angry. But he adds the piece, what would love do now for me? So that changes things. In the moment, if I think, what would be the most loving thing I could do for me? It might not be to get angry and yell and scream, because that's going to hit me. That's going to come back and bite me later. because the person's going
Mm-hmm.
to react. Maybe the most loving thing is to say something nice, honey, I can't talk about it right now because I'm really angry, and walk out of the room. That's loving yourself and not saying the thing that's going to backfire later on.
Yeah, that's powerful. And Doctor, while you're reading that, I wanted to give the our participants an opportunity to actually see it. So I just pasted it. I, I through my husband's phone, I've actually just pasted it on the chat. So if you guys can look at what Dr. Erica has in there, I mean, that's actually mind. It's such mind shift to sometimes we really can't define love, and we always think love is outward going to the other person. But I love how you said, what does that look like, for me? What does love for me looks like? And then we can actually make a decision for us on what's going to be good for us in the long run.
Absolutely. And then I want to just talk about, because we're talking about loving, what is loving. But once you have had a problem or a divorce, it's so easy. Now they're not in your space. So now it's so easy to say they did this and they were wrong and all about them. That again,
Yeah.
you're not looking at me. You think this
Well,
person always
Dr.
yelled at me, and
That's going to bring me to my next question. How do you repair relationships that are broken like that? Are they worth repairing? Are they repairable?
I can't answer whether they're repairable. Sometimes they are, and sometimes they're not, because it's very important to look again at who am I and what are my goals in life? What have they always been? And who is this person? What is his goals or her goals? If you're gay and or two men, what is the other person's dream? What do they hate? What are they repelled by? You've got to understand a lot of this. And you may have gone into the relationship not being so honest about where you're at. Not that you purposely lied, but that you were hopeful. Or they may have come in. And then another thing that happens by being in the relationship, then you find out what you don't want. And maybe you didn't
Mm,
realize it before. So somebody gave me this expression and I love it. Become ferociously curious. I love those words. So ferociously curious about yourself and about the other person. So even after divorce, but preferably before you even get close to the person, just get really curious about who is this person and how does that fit with me and how would that fit in the long run, to really look at things. So ask what questions, all kinds of questions, like all of this, what am I thinking and appreciating doing? But what have others told me about this person, about myself, about what I want, or about the way I behave or the way I think? Listen, what needs of mine in this relationship, especially if you just broke up,
yeah.
have not been satisfied, and what needs and desires of the other person were not satisfied? In what way did I not satisfy this other person? Even if they were mean and they went about it all wrong, they may have really been needing and wanting something. And the other person that you call toxic and don't like may have come from a really difficult background, may have had abuse, may have had parents that weren't really good role models. And if we can think that the person is just doing the best that they can, and they might not match with us because we're really in a different level, that's very different than making them out to be this awful person. Because most of those people that get divorced that were the awful person for one person find another person that marries them or spends a lot of time with
Yeah.
them and loves them, and sometimes it lasts a long time, and it didn't, because different combinations can fit together. What you consider abuse, the other one might have had abuse, and they can handle it differently. or they stand up,
Right.
or they just tolerate it more and walk in the other room and don't call it abuse. So
That's
just
so true.
ask a lot of questions. How does this fit? And then ask why questions. Why now? Why is it happening now? Why do I hurt so much? What is it about it that's hurting so much? Did it hurt my pride? Is it someone I really loved and that I want to be with again? Or was it just that I was supposed to be the one that left or something like that? Um,
Yeah.
and
Those
why
are
does
all
it
big
feel good?
takeaways, doctor. Some of us have to watch your recording again because I know that this is so natural to you. This is so normal to you, but to us, it's like, wow, okay, wow, oh, wow.
That's
you know,
funny. And another question is, why do I feel so good? Because you might feel good because this person is handing you all kinds of lies and they're very smooth. So even
Mhm.
that, there's nothing wrong with enjoying it, but look at it, become ferociously curious, like a real
I love that.
reporter. That's really, and ask how, like, how does it get any better than this? How
Yes.
can it get better? Can it get better? And how could we prevent problems and how can we improve on things? And then there's one more question that maybe is more important than everything else. When,
Okay. Embracing myself.
when was the first time I felt this way? I just recently took a training with someone who did a timeline therapy type of thing. And you go back in time to the earliest memory you have that's similar, the reaction, or that seems to fit in some way with what just happened. And then inevitably you find there's some incident when you were a child where one of your parents or a caretaker, somebody did something, suppressed you in some way, and somehow that behavior is connected years later to why you didn't speak up or why you got so angry.
Mm,
It's really fascinating. And then
yeah.
you move yourself forward to right before this incident, this latest incident happened. What were you feeling right before, and
Yeah.
then you look at the incident. So it like takes you out of it and you see
So
something
good.
way back there. And then how do I really want it to be? So there's a lot of work that we can do
That's
to
so awesome.
transform.
Doctor, we're on our time, but I just wanted to like really, really kind of repeat this to the people that you have a course called Love Lessons for Your Soul, and you've talked about it a little bit. Now, is that a course that you're offering, or is that tell us about that more?
Well, if you sign up on my list and get that free report, the principle of love, then you'll be on my list when I put out the course again. I put it
Thank you
out a
so
few
much,
times a year.
doctor.
It's 6 weeks, 30 days. Each one is a full lesson, and you look back at your past and but mostly focused on now and relationships and the brain and hormones and the laws, the universal laws, and then what the Bible says about love, what
Yeah.
Buddhism says about love, what poets and philosophers have said about love. And you start to see that, and the 12 steps. I took the 12 steps from Alcoholics Anonymous and applied them to love. So it's the 12 steps of love. And then the pathways to unconditional love based on
Yeah. Well, I think
chakras, energy centers. There's so much in there.
that is so worth the investment, though, doctor, because I feel like that's really valuable for us to get to know ourselves, get to understand. I just love your approach on being ferociously curious with ourselves. Thank you so much, Dr. Erica, for this time. Thank you for spending this with us. And if you want to know more of Dr. Erica, how are they going to find you? What's your website?
The website is Dr. Erica, Derica, Goodstone, drericagoodstone.com. And you can contact me and you can have a free Healing Through Love or Love Mastery Secret session.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Erica, for such generosity. As I said, Dr. Erica brought tears to my eyes. Thank you for being here this afternoon. And actually, this is so perfect. This is the perfect segue to our next to our next speaker, because our next speaker is an amazing woman who just really speaks, walks love, and I am just really so happy that she's with us this afternoon. Tamara Andres is such a powerhouse. Oh my gosh. I couldn't even begin to say everything that she is and everything that she does, because it's just your story, Tamara. Oh my gosh. I saw you in one of the video interviews that you had with one of the influencers in Instagram, and I oh my gosh, I'm like, I need her. I need her in my life. I need her in my life. I know that so if you have gone through our rechargingyoursuperwoman.com site, our registration page, you will find all the bios, and you'll find Tamara's bio in there. And I can't even tell you her story because it's amazing. She did a lot of things, a lot of high end, high level, fashion modeling and designing, and gave that all up, kind of like walk through a new journey of finding herself and finding her true love and finding her true passion. It's almost like, the things that most people pursue and want to have, she gave up, like it doesn't make sense, and she walked away from that to find such passion that you now carry and you coach the world with. And I want to let you speak on that because, oops, before we do that, let me just restart.